PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the Vegas Golden Knights 2024-2025 season, we are going to be discussing the latest game that happened on a back-to-back, whereas the Vegas Golden Knights are continuing their Canadian road trip, and they're taking on the Ottawa Senators at the Canadian Tire Center. And this is going to be a much better video than the video we did against the Ottawa Senators. And, God damn it, after the Ottawa Senators, what they did at T-Mobile Arena a while back, which was a game that we were at, the comeback the Vegas Golden Knights did against Ottawa at T-Mobile Arena, this game would be a tad bit different, as the Vegas Golden Knights actually would get out to an early lead, and they would keep that lead throughout the entire game, and the Vegas Golden Knights would pick up a 3-2 victory over the Ottawa Senators. And we're going to go over everything in this game. We're going to talk about it, all of it, here on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap with your host, Ian Rachiele, here on PRConnectionsRadio.com. Now, getting into the pregame notes here between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Ottawa Senators, and only two for this episode, and they're kind of important notes, so I'm just going to take our time here, and is the fact that defenseman Alex Pietrangelo is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Now, in the game against Toronto, and even the game before that, when they did take on Washington, I didn't see anything standout-ish, okay? There wasn't anything that was notable when it came to Alex Pietrangelo, what could have caused it. I mean, everybody knows that an upper body injury and lower body injury, and when it comes to hockey, is some of the most vague injuries that you can ever talk about when it comes to the game of hockey. This is kind of, though, a big deal for the Vegas Golden Knights. Alex Pietrangelo, not only their highest paid defenseman, but it's also a situation where Alex Pietrangelo really should be the backbone of the defense. They really need his production out there on the defense. So for Alex Pietrangelo to be day-to-day, he is not in the starting lineup for tonight. And for Alex Pietrangelo, it's going to be really interesting to see how the defense produced without him. I have to say that defense actually did really well tonight. I mean, this is a defense that, compared to what they did against Toronto, it is night and day, a huge difference on a back-to-back. Now, I'm not going to sit here and overanalyze it. Vegas Hockey Hub is not going to try to diagnose how long Alex Pietrangelo is going to be out. But what we're going to say is that when it comes to Alex Pietrangelo, when he comes back, we will definitely talk about it. And hopefully it is not many days that we do not see Alex Pietrangelo in the starting lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights. But yeah, this was a big pregame note for the Vegas Golden Knights. The fact that defenseman Alex Pietrangelo out for the game and is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights had to replace somebody, and that's because Nicholas Hague is out with an undisclosed injury. Ben Hutton is out due to an injury. So with Hutton, Hague, and Pietrangelo all on the shelf, they had to have a sixth defenseman in the starting lineup, and Robert Hague called up from the Henderson Silver Knights. No, I'm not saying Nicholas Hague as an error with Robert Hague, but this is a defenseman they signed as a veteran to the AHL this past offseason. He has been with the Silver Knights all year long, and he is getting a call-up to the NHL to play in Vegas. Now, like I said, there's no timetable on when he is going to be back in the AHL. There's no timetable when and how many games he's going to be in the NHL. That's all based on Pietrangelo, Hague, and Hutton. But it'll be very interesting to see how he performs. As a veteran, he's played hundreds of games in the NHL. He's been with Philadelphia. He's been with Anaheim. So be very curious to see how Robert Hague does in this game. But yeah, he was called up from the AHL. He was on the flight, made it to Ottawa, and he would be on the starting lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, on the forward side, there is no changes to the starting lineup. They are all the same from Toronto. And really, the only big difference that happened here is that with Haig, he is on the third line. And you also saw Hanifin, and you would see Hanifin, Korzak, McNabb, Theodore, Whitecloud, Haig. So, that's really what you saw, kind of the big difference defensive pairing wise. There was a change with the Vegas Golden Knights. And then in net for the Vegas Golden Knights, trying to shake off a bad performance against Washington 2 games out. And that is Ilya Samsonov. So he is the second goalie, obviously, on a back-to-back. Hill was against Toronto. Samsonov tonight against Ottawa. And very good performance by Ilya Samsonov tonight. Actually, one of the best performances we have seen of Samsonov so far in a Vegas Golden Knights uniform. We'll talk about all of that in just a minute. But yeah, so for the Vegas Golden Knights organization, very good, and getting into Ottawa, playing there. And this is Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. And I'm your host, Ian. Now, when it came to the game itself, and this was a interesting first period for the Vegas Golden Knights as they would get on the board first, and they would capitalize on a 1-0 goal, thanks to Jack Eichel, by the way. So Jack Eichel, Ivan Barbashev, that connection that we have seen so far this season. And I really like what we have seen over the past season and a half of Ivan Barbashev and Jack Eichel. And regardless of the Mark Stone situation, he is going to come back eventually. We all know that. But to have both of those guys, 2 of the 3 main players on the first line, it is a really good situation when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights. And after that first goal, first period done, it's a 1-0 game. How does Vegas continue that momentum? Well, how about we make it 2-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights? Except this time, it was a really solid job on the defensive end for Vegas to get a rush, get back into the game. Brett Howden, he gets past the goaltender, makes it a 2-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights, and I really like what we saw here. But more importantly, shout out to Ivan Barbashev continuing the hot streak and the good run of games that we have seen in 2024-2025 season, having back-to-back assists to open up the game for Vegas. And I really am going to say Ivan Barbashev last year, he had a streaky first year on that brand new contract. There was concerns about him, but so far in year 2 of that contract, Ivan Barbashev has proved a lot of people wrong. He has established himself as a firm guy on that second line, on a top 6 first line. And I really like what we've seen from Ivan Barbashev so far in the first 20. And then later on in the game, I have to give credit where credit is due, as with the 10th goal in 20 games, we have Pavel Dorofeyev. He has really taken off, and he has really replaced Jonathan Marchessault on that scoring production that Peel thought was going to be lacking from the Vegas Golden Knights after the departure of Jonathan Marchessault, him moving on, going over to Nashville. So yeah, Pavel Dorofeyev, half a goal per game so far. So I really like what we've seen from Pavel Dorofeyev, and hoping that by the end of the year, we're going to get close to, 40 goals on the year. That would be insane production to really see from number 16, Pavel Dorofeyev. Tomas Hertl, that second line, there's been some mystery about, is there going to be any connections? Is there going to be any buildup to that second line? And, we're going to have to see how that whole second line does once everybody gets healthy, once Mark Stone comes back, once Victor Olesen, who's in the AHL playing for Henderson, once he gets called up once again. And we're going to have to see how Pavel Dorofeyev does for an entire 82-game season. But so far, what an incredible job by Pavel Dorofeyev. I also have to mention the good display that we saw from Vegas in this game. I mean, taking advantage of turnovers against Ottawa really showed how well the Vegas Golden Knights did in this performance. And I really like what we saw from Vegas and what they accomplished in this game. So overall, I really want to sit here and say that when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, when it comes to this organization, I am happy to say that this is a team that is going to end up being a very solid organization. And I have to give props to Ottawa as well. I like what we saw from them so far, the first 20 games. I mean, this is an Ottawa Senators team. When you look at the win-loss record that Ottawa does have, I mean, this is 8-10-1. But compared to more recent years, that is a better record for the Ottawa Senators. And I did mention this in a previous episode when we were hyping up the Ottawa Senators and Vegas Golden Knights game going down the road, that this is a potential playoff team. Anybody who watched our preview show or anybody who saw my prediction show, you would know that when it came to the Vegas Golden Knights and when it comes to Ottawa Senators, not only do I have Vegas making it in as a wild card team, but more importantly, this is a Ottawa Senators team that I think that is either this year or next year, they are going to be a playoff team. I have no doubt in my mind that is what's going to happen. And I really look at it and I sit here and say, you know what? This is going to be an Ottawa team that has so much young talent. I like what they have in terms of the roster, the build, and everything like that. So they are going to be a good team down the road. And a losing 3-2 against the Vegas Golden Knights, that is nothing to scoff at. Also got to remember earlier in October, this is a Ottawa Senators team that came to T-Mobile Arena, was leading at the beginning of the game, and then Vegas came back and had their comeback in the third period. I also have to give a lot of credit to Ilya Samsonov for the great outing that Ilya Samsonov had against Ottawa. 40 shots on net that Ottawa put up against Vegas. 38 saves on the night for Ilya Samsonov. So after an underwhelming performance against the Washington Capitals, after, going up against his former team that drafted him, having, not the best night in the world, he kind of rebounds and has arguably one of the best performances we have seen, a small sample size, I know, but one of the best scenes we have seen all year from Ilya Samsonov for the Vegas Golden Knights. And there's a lot of rumors and speculation about, is this just going to be a one and done for Ilya Samsonov? Is this going to be a Golden Knights tenure that's going to be cut short? Depending on how well he does, he's going to be extended after this offseason. We're going to have to wait a long time to see that answer. But so far, Ilya Samsonov, it has been hot and cold. Sometimes he's had, some really good games like tonight. And then sometimes he has had underwhelming results and ended up kind of costing Vegas at the end. So for Ilya Samsonov, I will give credit where credit is due. He had a really great outing by the Vegas Golden Knights. And I really like what we saw from Ilya Samsonov in this game. The defense stepped up way better than what happened in Toronto. And you have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to Ilya Samsonov and how he performed for the Vegas Golden Knights. So overall, I really want to say that when it comes to the defense, I applaud them for what they did tonight. And we're going to have to wait and see how they perform for the rest of the year. Vegas Golden Knights picking up the win here at Canadian Tire Center out there in Ottawa. This is the second game on that Canadian road trip. You're really doing that northeast loop for the Vegas Golden Knights. And with it being a back-to-back, which is really kind of interesting for Vegas, because entering this game, really they haven't had many back-to-backs so far this year. As a matter of fact, the only time they really had a back-to-back was at T-Mobile Arena, and that was the 25th and 26th of October, and that was Ottawa and San Jose. So, overall, when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, this being their second back-to-back of the season, they lost the first one, and they win the second one. And, then moving forward, you're going to have Philadelphia in 2 days, and then you're going to have Montreal down the road, and then you're going to have, Winnipeg, Colorado. So there's going to be a Vegas Golden Knights organization that when you're looking at the outings and you're looking at what is going to happen moving forward, you're going to see a Vegas Golden Knights team that, are they going to do really good out on the road? Are they going to struggle a little bit? We know how strong they are at home at T-Mobile Arena. I mean, they had an undefeated streak at home to start out the season before they suffered their first loss a while back. So, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, as we're getting towards the end of the month and getting towards the end of everything here, I just have to sit here and applaud them for what they've done so far. This is the win-loss record for your Vegas Golden Knights. And as you can see on the board there, they're going to be one of the best teams in the Pacific Division. And, Edmonton, LA, I mean, we saw what Calgary has done. I mean, there's some standouts here out there in the Pacific Division. Out there in the Central, Winnipeg. Wow. I mean, wow, just really showing what Winnipeg has done so far. So, overall, in this game, player of the game, that will go to Ilya Samsonov. I am really happy to see him put up those 38 saves against the Senators tonight. And here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this team operates and they really perform moving forward. So the next game will be against Montreal. That will be the last game of the Canadian side of it. And then you have Philadelphia after that. Colorado and Winnipeg will then be the next 2 games after Philadelphia. And Philadelphia will be following Montreal. So, overall, here for the Vegas Golden Knights, we are at 20. And this is going to be a really good situation. We're seeing how the Vegas Golden Knights perform so far. And it'll be really curious to see how the Vegas Golden Knights end up doing long term. And we're going to see a lot of that here on Vegas Hockey Hub. We're going to cover every single game, part of Vegas Hockey Hub recap. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about all of this here on Vegas Hockey Hub. I can't wait to talk about every single thing here. Go to our YouTube channel. We upload exclusive content like the Vegas Hockey Hub recap shows to our YouTube channel. We have our Facebook page where we try to upload content there. We have our Instagram. We have our Twitter. We have TikTok. We are working on the website, www.vegashockeyhub.com. Try to be getting all the bells and whistles working on the website. I also have our articles, www.thesportsangle.com. So if you want to check out the articles that your host, Ian Rachiele, writes, they're going to be on the website. And go to prconnectionsradio.com. Check out all the content that this network has. There's a lot of great content, and there's so much that we are going to cover and go over here on Vegas Hockey Hub throughout the season. I'm really looking forward to all of that. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub, and this was the Ottawa Senators and Vegas Golden Knights, and this was the game that just happened, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Vegas and all that stuff happens, and we're going to see what happens with Vegas Hockey Hub. So, it's Ian Rachiele. I'm your host, and until next time, go Knights.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.